Hello, namaskar, and a very good afternoon to all the viewers watching our sessions out there. This is Simran Singh, and I welcome all of you in the live interactive session of NCERT. You are watching this particular live telecast through eVidya channel number 6 to 12. Besides, we have so many different mediums through which you all can connect with us, and one of them, as you all know, it is our YouTube channel, that's NCERT Official. So it's around 2:30 p.m. on your watch. It's Friday, and on Fridays from 2:30 till 4 we have our special sessions of MANODARPAN Paricharcha for all of you. It is a special initiative by the Ministry of Education that is aimed at providing guidance for mental well-being and psychosocial support to all the students, all the viewers, all the audiences watching our programs out there. So if you want to explore more about it, then here is the website link. It is flashing on your screens. You may kindly note it down. It is www.manodarpan.education.gov.in. Besides, we also have our national helpline contact number for all of you. So in case of doubts, if you need help, if you are seeking help, then here is our number. It is 844-844-0632. And you can also watch the live streaming of this program on our Facebook page. That is National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT. So here in the discussion, we come up with certain important topics for all of you. So you must be willing to know what are we going to discuss today. Well, it's surely and certainly significant for all of you because it's about promoting mental well-being among adolescent students. So adolescence, it seems to be a bit challenging, or I should say the vulnerable stages or the phases of our life. But with the right amount of guidance, support, we will be able to channelize our energy in the right direction. So providing us more insights into the conversation, we are also joined by our esteemed panelists. But before introducing you to the panelists, an important piece of information for all our viewers regarding G20. We are proud of the fact that India assumed the G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in this year. That's 2023. The nation is deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism. India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history, as it seeks to play a very important role by finding global pragmatic solutions for the well-being of everyone, and in doing so, manifesting the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or should I say the world is one family. So viewers, let's get back to our conversation of Manodarpan Paricharcha, and let me take the moment to introduce you to all the guests who have connected with us. In the conversation, we are joined by Professor Anil Kumar K from RIE NCRT Mysuru. Namaskar sir, we welcome you.
Yeah, namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon sir. We are also joined by Mrs. Radha, Headmistress at Kendriya Vidyalaya Air Force Station, Sulur, Coimbatore. Namaskar ma'am.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, welcoming you in the conversation. Our third panelist for the discussion is Dr. Hita Claudia Rao, practicing clinical psychologist and guest faculty from University of Mysore, Mysuru. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope
Welcoming
all of
you
you are doing
also.
good.
Yes, and we assume that you are also in good health. Then the fourth panelist for the day would be Dr. Jyoti Bhavane, ma'am. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaste and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. She's serving as Associate Professor from Indian Institute of Education, Pune. Then the last panelist for the conversation is Mrs. Jacinta Felix. Namaskar, ma'am. Good afternoon. Welcoming you also. She is a PRT from DGQA, Chennai. So viewers, without further ado, let's begin the conversation. But I would like to inform you if you have any of the queries, anything you would like to ask us with regard to the topic that we are discussing today, or otherwise anything that you would like to raise from our platform, then do mention it in the comment section of NCERT Official. That would be our YouTube channel. Besides, you all know the different mediums through which you all can connect with us. So we are looking forward to your questions, and let's get started. So in the first place, let's get to know more about this topic and highlighting the importance of the topic, especially for the students, and also the aspects that are to be covered in the discussion. For that, I would like to invite Professor Anil discussing more on the topic.
Yeah, Thank you, Simranji. Good afternoon, students and all other viewers. Today, we are going to discuss an important topic, namely promoting mental well-being among adolescent students. Dear students, during this session, we are going to discuss about what is meant by mental well-being, why is it important to all of us, and also how it can be promoted. As you know that health and well-being of adolescent student is a major concern for all of us, particularly after the post-pandemic situation. Various research studies have shown that adolescents group was much affected with various mental health issues during and even after the corona pandemic. Many of the students had various academic as well as psychosocial problems. Due to this, some of them had to discontinue their studies or their academic performance have gone down. This all made us to think that how we can promote the well-being among adolescent students. First of all, let us understand what is meant by the well-being is. In simple terms, well-being is considered as a feeling of well, which means that you are happy, you feel always good, and you also feel very comfortable situation. You have good physical as well as mental health, and also having a good sense of meaning and purpose for your life. Well-being consists of not only your subjective feelings, but also objective aspects such as your quality of life in terms of your capabilities and access to various opportunities in the environment for development of your fuller potentials. United Nations also put this particular aspect under the Sustainable Development Goals. Out of the 17 goals, the goal number 3 talks about this aspect, that is good health and well-being. It is stated like this: ensuring healthy lives and promoting the well-being of all at all stages is essential to have good sustainable development. Thus, it becomes the priority and responsibility of all of us that you get good food, good health, care facilities, as well as a safe and secure environment to go. The World Health Organization has defined mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her potential, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a good contribution to his or her community. Thus, you are all have to have a safe and nurturing environment so as to have a proper growth and development and also have a feeling of worth for your living in this earth. Let us look upon what are the characteristics of a person with good mental well-being. A person with sound mental well-being shows the following characteristics. He or she may have good self-understanding, knowing about himself or herself, and she may accept herself also. That means knowing about various strengths as well as the limitations also. Individuals have good mental well-being. It is shown that they have good confidence as well as good self-esteem also. And many a time they will have also good resilience power. Whenever adversities happens, they can rebound back quickly. And many of those people having good mental well-being, we have seen that they have a thirst for knowledge, a desire for learning further, and they look for pursuit to excellence also. Such people are very active and are always determined, shows optimism in their way, and have a realistic attitude in life. The students who are having good mental well-being demonstrates increase in their productivity at all levels, whether it is at a school or workplace or any other situations, and much reduced risk in their various attempts. They will have good social connectivity also, and decrease the risk of illness. They'll have better immunity power and they show always a positive thinking and a positive outlook. Thus, people with mental well-being, a positive, particularly well-being leads to have a success and satisfaction in their life. You may ultimately tend to say that I am happy with my life. Why are we looking upon the mental well-being of adolescents, particularly at this context? You know that the youngest population, the largest population lives in India. When you compare with the other populations of the world, the experience you undergo at this stage, particularly adolescent stage, have a greater impact on your well-being, not only during this stage, but also the later stages such as adulthood and all. So adolescence is a critical stage of life where many of the factors that contribute to lifelong well-being has to be acquired by all of you at this stage only. So adolescence is the time where rapid changes happens in your physical, cognitive, social, and emotional aspects. That the focus should be on developing physical, cognitive, social, and emotional maturity, which is the backbone for your good mental well-being. This include adopting healthy food habits, healthy sleep, regular exercises, developing various coping mechanisms, developing problem solving abilities and good interpersonal skills, and also learning to manage your emotions and stress. So when we look upon the promotion of well-being among adolescents, we have to look it from the four major domains, such as physical well-being, intellectual or cognitive well-being, emotional well-being, and social well-being. Physical well-being focuses on your body to stay healthy now and also in future. Intellectual well-being focuses on proper cognitive development, which will help you to respond positively to various intellectual challenges which you come across in your life. Similarly, emotional well-being focuses on managing your emotions, feelings, and stress, and also having caring and concern for others. Similarly, social well-being focuses on maintaining a healthy relationship with others, good interpersonal relationship, enjoying the company of others, and also contributing positively to the society or community. Students, your well-being emerges from your thoughts, actions, and experiences, which could be promoted with proper guidance and support from parents, teachers, counselors, and other mental health professionals. In order to discuss this in detail, we have got four experts. Each one of them has got a lot of practical experience in the field. I am sure that the discussions what is going to happen here, you will enjoy and also make use the information for having a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you
Over
so
Simran.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for laying a strong foundation of the program and also for apprising us about the different areas, or I should say the bifurcations of well-being that we are going to discuss: physical well-being, intellectual well-being, emotional and social well-being. So why not start with physical well-being, as it is a very important component or aspect of mental well-being. So elaborating about it on a length, we have with us Radha ma'am.
Good afternoon. Adolescence is such a beautiful phase in a person's life. You feel grown up, but you're still growing. So, how important it is to be healthy. That's what we are going to see now. I know you all feel that you are the strongest and you are the most agile person on earth and you can do everything. How you can continue to be like this? That is the uh, point that we are going to discuss now. Shall I have the first slide, ma'am?
Yes, yeah, the
Yeah.
PowerPoint is right there.
Physical well being to enhance mental health. What is physical well being? It is the use of your body in complete unison with your environment without feeling any illness or any negative aspect on your own, or sustained by something which is extraneous. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. World Health Organization, which is generally called as WHO, defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being. This three well being of a person defines a person to be healthy. It is not enough if you just show a strong arms and strong muscles, children. So you have to have the other two well beings also, which is mental and social well being. So, how do we get a coordination among all this? Let us start with physical well being. To keep yourself healthy and strong throughout as you grow up, step into different stages of life, you need to do something. What is that? That is so many areas of your life concentrates or focuses on this part of being healthy, that is physical health. And it is not just absence of disease, not because I never fall sick, that is not health. It is also the combination of the three: physical, mental, and social. Now, let us see how we can achieve. Next slide, madam. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes. See, these are children just before entering into adolescence. How many of us like to be this way throughout our life? Definitely, I, for one. I'm sure all of you would like to be like this, always playing, being happy, and in a complete sportsman spirit, and showing joy and cherubness when you are among your friends. So let us see how we can achieve this. Next slide, please. Can you make out what is on this, my dear friends? Yes, your guess is right. It's just your mind. We call it a brain. It has lots of things inside that. What is that? Diet, happiness, positivity, meditation, attitude, wellness, energy, feelings, emotions, stress, balance, harmony, hygiene. How is it possible to have all this in one spot? It is possible because that is the CPU of our machine, of our body. You know, you guessed it very well. I said CPU. This controls, this creates the uh, effect of the living, effect of life, effect of positivity, effect of harmony in us. How do we keep us always on the lively side, always on ready to achieve something? It is possible. The first step is to keep your body to follow whatever command is given by the mind. That is physical well being. That is health. That is physical health. How do we do that? How do we achieve this wellness? It's very easy. Let us see step by step. Next slide, madam. Can we define physical health? We say doctors ask us to be healthy. What is the secret of energy? How do you always keep yourself strong? How do you always keep yourself ready for any kind of activity? What is this physical health? And why is physical health necessary? Yes, it is necessary. These many questions keep on going around when you enter into adolescence, because your mother says, eat this, don't eat that. And the teacher says, don't watch TV, do your work. So, when so many instructions are given to you, their focus is physical health. Is it possible? With so many instructions, are we not confused what to follow and what not to follow? Everyone says do this and do that. But somewhere there is a line, there is a channel which will help you to coordinate your life actions and achieve that what is called as the health, physical health. How do we do that? Next slide. It's very easy, I'll tell you. Now, let us define physical health. It is the ability to perform daily activities, daily routine, just getting up in the morning, getting ready to school, have your breakfast, read school, do your academics, play for some time, interact with your friends, then maybe have a quality time with your family. These are all daily activities. Have a good night's sleep. If at all you feel bored, if at all you feel I'm unable to do this, if at all you feel you are stressed down, you are pressurized in doing any of these activities, then you should think, am I healthy? Is there something I should do to improve my physical health? That's where the question arises. What else is physical health? It is the ability to withstand or to have the stamina to all perform all the activities assigned to us by our elders, by our friends, by our teachers. These activities which are on the screen, which are shown here, very simple. Playing, helping the mother in household works, helping the teacher or the gardener, or doing some social work, and doing your regular academics. This requires stamina. Just think, for 40 minutes of period in a class, towards the end of the period, you start looking at your watch. What does it mean? Somewhere your body clock says, I'm unable to sit. Or just, okay, if it is at the end of 40 minutes, it's okay, completely okay. By 20th minute, if something says within you, I'm unable to sit, then somewhere you should put this question to yourself. Do I have the stamina? Do I have the ability to withstand this regular routine in work? If your answer is no, then you should reconsider what else you should do to improve your physical health. Am I clear, my dear young friends? Okay. Then next one comes ability to manage disease and fatigue. See, we call a small, by a small term, disease. But 2 years back, we were shaken. The entire world was shaken by a pandemic. Leave that. A small disease, a common cold. Okay, you are going to be sick. You just lie down for a day, take rest, take whatever, either home remedy or doctor's remedy. And within a day, if you are able to bounce back to normal life, that's okay. Because always there is a little down and little up. Even in physical health, it happens. But if a common cold or a fever or a small increase in increase in temperature like 99 or 100, it's going to pull you down to the bed for more than 2 days, couple of days. Then you question yourself, should I check upon my physical health? Am I healthy? So just remember, my dear young friends, these are the three abilities that a young person like you, an adolescent, should possess: ability to perform daily activities, have endurance, and ability to manage disease and fatigue. So, I think it must be clear what physical health is. May I have the next slide, please? Achieve this. Always what goes in is very important to tell us how we are going to use whatever has gone in. Whatever has gone in, how it's going to enhance you, both physically, mentally, and create an aura against you. Yes, that determines what's on your plate. Your food plate determines. Now, recently, it was made known, publicized that what your grandparents ate also matters. So the physical health is genetic too. But how we in the present can maintain that? You create a simple nutrient for the week. 7 days of the week, seven different nutrients, including dry fruits. including your salads, including your cooked chana. We call sundal in South India, but everywhere else it's called by different names. So when you have a small portion of this added to your diet plate, then you are complete in providing the necessary fuel for your body. So it has all the essential nutrients. I have named it here as pulses, beans, dairy product, fruits, vegetables, rice, chapati. In your science, you would have learned each of these are rich in different kind of nutrients. Your vitamins, your proteins, your fats, your minerals, all are contained in this food plate. Just see that a portion is not in excess. If one portion goes in excess for a continuous period of time, it's going to affect the mental health. Okay, 1 or 2 days, everyone likes junk food. So we cannot always prohibit an adolescent to take a bite of pizza or a piece. But always a pizza or a burger, it's not going to help you. You have told, we have decided we are going to be healthy. We have decided that we are going to improve our mental health. So when that is our focus, our food plate should have something like this. Added to that, your nutrient for the week chart. Next slide, please. Okay. Along with the diet chart, fix a routine. This routine is like your school timetable. So the timetable tells you 8:30 to 9, your assembly, 9 to 9:30, English, 9:30 to 10, you have some other subject. Like that, you fix your daily routine, in by which your body clock gets used to a regular regime. You need not disturb it often. So once it is kept normal, functioning always in the same routine, definitely our physical health is going to be 100% on the higher side. Okay, what is this regular routine? I've made it a game so you can also play with your friends. Starting from dawn, sunrise, early, the very old quote, early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. That is absolutely true. Don't keep your study time till late night. So start your body clock. Make your body clock tick early in the morning, maybe between 5:30 and 6. If it is possible for you, still earlier. And then have a healthy breakfast. I told you in the previous slide just 2 minutes back, your plate should be very healthy. Your food plate should have all the regular nutrients which your mother would definitely know, and she would definitely serve you every day. So this routine, what it will do, it will inculcate discipline, which in turn tunes the mind and the body to function as per an internal clock. Once you are habituated to a disciplined way of life, you will think twice before coming out of this channel, before crossing this line. So, this disciplining the body takes some time. Sometimes we don't want to listen to our parents. We want to rebel. Why should I do that? Why not this way? Why it has to be this way? Always experience is a very good teacher. The elders in your life, they are a little more experienced. So if they say this routine is good, then I think you can accept. If you want to try something else, then you will get back to the routine which was prescribed by your parents or teacher, which tells you that is the best routine. Dividing the time for all activities, that is a routine. So if you keep on studying from 4 to 9, then when will you play? You need to play. Your muscles need a workout. Your body needs to relax. So if you divide the time for different activities for a few hours a day or minutes, set aside some minutes, then your routine is fixed. Let us see what else we should do. Please, ma'am. Next slide. Okay. This is the best part an adolescent likes: exercises and games. We saw what we should eat, we saw how we should have a routine in our life, and what else will make a young person healthy: exercises and games. The way you breathe matters, your posture matters. Some of you start panting even after uttering few sentences. You just start panting. That means there is something in your body which holds a complete physical health from reaching 100%. So it should always good a sign of good health to inhale and exhale through the nose and not through the mouth, unless a very heavy physical activity has been done and you start panting for breath. That is different. That is not always. So always when you feel that you are healthy, your breathing, inhalation and exhalation will be only through the nose. And a regular exercise, either walking or stretches or a team game like kabaddi, your teachers would have devised a plan which has different games suiting to different needs of children, suiting to different body build of students, and all these will definitely enhance the physical health. Next, madam. Then comes yoga. It is our nation's pride. Because of India, now the entire world celebrates International Yoga Day. Start. Yoga at very young age will make the body beautiful, fluid in its movement. See the way this young man is moving his arms and legs. I can't imagine at my age, but you can. And Surya Namaskar, just 12 steps, which gives a stretch, which gives a perfect coordination blend of inhalation and exhalation for the body, and all the parts of the body are involved in just 12 steps. It gives a complete control of your mind and breath. So you just ask your parents, ask your teacher. Before asking, they will advise you to do. And if you have a chance, definitely practice yogasana every day. So practicing yogasana gives a control of the mind which says something wrong is tempting you, but your mind all see, it has already learned how to control. You have already learned how to control your mind. You will definitely feel or instruct your mind saying that no, that is wrong, I shouldn't go towards that. So achieving this control at a young age, it's very good. It's going to take you long places, far and beyond your dreams. That's why they say practice yoga every day, and a day has been given to celebrate that as an international day. So when it has become a global necessity, global need, why can't we children follow it at our own home and schools? I think you can all do that. Next slide, please.
Surely, ma'am, you are discussing about certain important
Then,
elements related to the physical exercise or the physical aspect of mental well-being. But, ma'am, here
yes.
I'll have to request you to conclude your words.
Okay, now this physical health, after enhancing to this level, it's going definitely going to improve your mental ability and mental health, because all these activities which we discussed till now create feel good hormone in your mind. Once this feel good hormone starts acting, you're going to be mentally strong, mentally active, agile, ready to take on any challenge in your life. Thank you, my dear young friends. Hope you all understand the importance of being physically healthy to make you mentally stronger and mentally healthier. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, ma'am, for sharing the different elements of physical well-being, be it exercise, workout, practicing yoga, routine, following a routine, a disciplined one, and a balanced diet. Thanks a lot. Moving ahead in the conversation, we have discussed on physical well-being. So let's get to know more about the another aspect of mental well-being, that is intellectual well-being, and how we all can promote it, especially among the adolescent students. For that, I would like to invite Dr. Hita Claudia Rao.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
A very good afternoon to everyone. Talking to adolescent students is, in fact, one of my personal favorites. And is a very interesting topic, mainly because intellectual well-being has not been discussed much. The reason for this being is that intellectual well-being is very deeply connected to other forms of well-being, and hence, we usually tend to overlook this aspect of our life. So let's just see what intellectual well-being is all about. We know that intelligence is the complex ability of our brain that allows us to think, to act, to behave, to adapt, to learn, and even to be effective in our day-to-day life. And well-being basically refers to holistic health that allows all of us to enjoy a good life. So, in the simplest manner, we can define intellectual well being as a state of intellectual health where an individual is able to utilize the capacities of his brain, that is, his skills, his talents, and his abilities, in a very meaningful manner. And intellectual health is very important during student years, basically because it allows an individual to be very productive in their academic performance. It also allows them to actively participate in cultural pursuits, and it promotes community. We see that students who are intellectually healthy are able to engage with their environment in a very productive manner, learning from it actively, which enhances their personal effectiveness, makes them socially smart, and also creates the ability within them to have an impact around them. So, is intellectual well-being only important during the period of adolescence? The answer is a big no. We all need to experience intellectual health all through our life. But adolescence is the best age when we can harness intellectual health, mainly because it's the time when an individual emerges as an intellectual being. The person here has the ability to monitor his thoughts and reflect on his behaviors, which is not usually present during childhood years. Adolescence is also a time when the brain experiences immense growth. There are rapid changes in the brain, and we see that this is the stage of life reorganizes itself by forming new neural networks and weeding out the old ones. So, the altering neurochemistry of the brain provides huge opportunity for adolescent students to build on their intellectual abilities. But we also see that it can be a time of a lot of strain, confusion for the individual, and a lot of adolescent students, they usually complain of experiencing a very poor sense of this, all the stress and all the problems that they face. So we see that fostering intellectual health during this time can actually be beneficial because it equips the adolescent student with the ability to deal with their ongoing problems. Now, this may be emotional problems, behavioral problems, social problems, or even academic issues. So there are manifold benefits of experiencing emotional wellness or intellectual well-being. So we see that intellectual health improves the mental functions of the individual by enhancing their attention and concentration, their memory capacities. It also boosts the capacity of the brain to process information and also to retain information. It builds resilience. Now, resilience is the ability of an individual to withstand difficult times, stronger person. So, since people who are intellectually healthy, they have the ability to solve their problems effectively. They can stand through any troubling times, and this can actually influence their level of self confidence and build self awareness in them, wherein the person is quite mindful about their behaviors and their actions. Intellectually healthy people are also motivated to live up to their maximum potential, and this is a hallmark of people. Intellectual health promotes stimulating life experiences. That is, it gives place or it gives room for new experiences and novel ideas, which has its own effects on the attitudes and opinions of the individual, not only about their own self, but also about others. Intellectual well-being has a very, very profound effect on identity formation. And now we all know that adolescence is a time when the personality of the individual begins to take form. So by promoting, the character of the individual, by affecting their coping skills, by cultivating good morals, We see that intellectual well-being has a direct influence on the formation of the person's personality, making it stronger and sturdier. Intellectual well-being also expands the capacities of the individual, and this is quite significant during adolescence because it is during adolescence that the IQ of the individual, that is what we call as intellectual quotient, is not fixed or stable. This is due to the plasticity of the brain, which we call as neuroplasticity. And the IQ of an individual can either rise sharply or fall depending upon how a person nurtures their intellectual capacities. Has a sure impact on the academic success of an individual because it creates a capacity in the person for continuous learning. And this caters to the person's cognitive development, making them quite curious and creative. And creativity is a mark of unique thinking rather than maintaining the status quo. So we see that when a student experiences intellectual health, learning becomes more personalized and meaningful to them, creating an urge in them to explore more. And in the long term, we find that intellectual wellness also acts as a buffer against the development of many different types of mental health disorders, behavioral problems, and social dysfunctions. It also prevents the development of neurodegenerative disorders, which occur as a part of aging. Given the importance of the intellectual well-being, what are the ways or what are the things that you can do as students to nurture this sense of well-being in all of you? Now, to be experiencing intellectual health, one does not have to be super intelligent or super smart. No matter what is your level of intelligence, no matter what type of intelligence you possess, by following small activities and daily routines on a daily basis, you can actually maximize your intellectual health. So, what are the things we can do? Very simple. The simplest thing you can do is cultivate a habit of reading regularly. Reading promotes continuous learning, and continuous learning is a very essential element of intellectual health. Reading not only enhances your knowledge, but it also allows you to think divergently. And reading builds vocabulary. Reading also influences a person's social and emotional skills. While reading topics related to academics is quite important, reading anything that is fun, that is enjoyable, it has the same effect on your brain and its functioning as regular academic activity. One more way in which intellectual capacities of the individual can be boosted that has a direct effect on their intellectual health. While some of us are born with good abilities and talents, we have inborn skills. Most of us have to make a very conscious effort to develop something new on a regular or an ongoing basis that adds to our knowledge and our experience. So, what can you do? Maybe learn an instrument, learn a new language, or probably learn a new sport. Or you can also get involved in different types of art forms. So, by doing these things continuously or making an effort to acquire or pick up a new skill, you can definitely experience better sense of intellectual health. Engaging in stimulating this is quite important for intellectual wellness. So just like the body needs, activities to keep it healthy and fit, similarly we see that the brain also requires certain activities that boost its capacity. So playing simple games like maybe you play chess or maybe you play checkers, solving puzzles. It may be crossword puzzles. It may be solving these jigsaw puzzles or playing the Sudoku or even playing video games for that matter. It seems to increase the flow of blood into our brain and it coordinates or it helps all the important parts of the brain to coordinate well with each other, preparing them to wire and fire more effectively. And we see that apart from all these things, socializing can also be a very, very interesting way of enhancing intellectual health. When we socialize, we build connections with other people, and social interactions is one way of learning new things and gaining new perspectives. Socialization also creates a sense of connectedness and gives us that support system we need to be healthy people. So we see that socialization is not as simple as it seems to be. To socialize effectively, we all need certain skill sets. When we socialize, these skill sets seem to improve over a period of time and have a direct influence on our experiences of intellectual health. As just speaking about physical activities, yes, physical activities are very, very important for our intellectual well-being. We find that When we engage in physical activities, when the body is active, the brain also comes alive. So research also says that when the body is involved in some sort of an activity, the very centers of the brain which are responsible for complex thinking process are also activated. Physical activity not only allows the brain cells to grow and develop, but they also enhance awareness in us about our own self. Physical activity, as ma'am was also saying, releases a lot of feel-good hormones in us that enhance our well-being. And the best way to experience intellectual health is to eat smart and eat right. So you are what you eat, right? And what you eat influences the way your brain functions. So we see that when we eat foods that are very high in salts, very high in sugar, processed foods, foods that are having a lot of preservatives, they can have a very damaging effect on the health of our brain. So it's very important that we make good choices about what we eat. When you consume foods that are packed with nutrients, they actually boost the capacity of your brain. Eating not only influences the functions of your brain, but eating also affects the way you feel. So what you eat can either make you feel very happy or make you feel very sad, influencing your sense of well-being. Not only eating, but also keeping yourself hydrated is very important for your intellectual health, because water is that medium which carries important nutrients to your brain. It also allows the brain cells to communicate with each other, and water is also a way wherein our brain flushes all the toxins out. So eating right, keeping ourselves hydrated is very, very essential for the experiences of intellectual health. Reducing screen time. I think most of us knew this was coming. Technology has come to be a very essential part of our day-to-day life. Being exposed to technology, phones, and mobile phones, laptops, it's become a common part of our life. Do you all know that watching mobile for a very long period of time has the capacity of rewiring your entire brain in terms of your attention, concentration, memory, and even the way your brain processes information. So it's very important that we are very conscious. It's not that you should stop watching mobile phones totally. When you use technology for your own benefit, to enhance your skills, to learn something, to improve yourself, it can be quite beneficial. But then if you use technology, get addicted to it and just watch whatever is available for a long duration of time, it may have a very counterproductive effect on your health. So we've been talking a lot about all activities that stimulate your brain, but it's quite important that you also allow your brain to rest, relax, so that it's able to revive and rejuvenate itself. I think it was this kindergarten rhyme that used to say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and all work makes Jack a mere toy. It's a wonderful rhyme, which talks about the balance between stimulation and relaxation. So what are the things that we can our brain and to optimize its capacity? The simple way to hear this, right? Yeah, when we sleep, the brain gets the opportunity to consolidate information. It also gets the time to clear out the clutter and also normalize itself. It's not about the quantity of sleep, it's rather about the quality of sleep. If you don't sleep for long hours, or if you deprive yourself of good sleep, it usually causes a burnout in the brain eventually. So it's very important that we develop healthy sleeping habits. Another fun way of relaxing and rejuvenating our brain and allowing it to reset is by developing hobbies. Hobbies are very fun and very interesting ways of keeping ourselves mentally healthy because they help us to de-stress ourselves. Now, hobbies may not be very expensive. Anything simple, anything on a routine that you do, which allows you to connect to yourself, allows you to get involved, which allows you to develop your creativity, or also makes you feel happy and enhances your sense of brings in a sense of accomplishment in you. They can all be ways of enhancing your intellectual health. And relaxation exercises, yes, they are a very good way of calming yourself down. I think when we talk about relaxation, yoga, meditation, and all that, it is quite repulsive for most adolescent students because they think that they have to sit for long hours in a particular position, probably until their beard and their hair grows. Now, that is not exactly what relaxation is. though we have regimes to be following, there are certain steps to follow when we are relaxing. Doing something as simple as regulating your breathing for less than 1 minute on a day-to-day basis can have the same calming effect on the brain like any other long, lengthy routine of relaxation. So, talking about all this, these are some of the ways we can enhance the experiences of emotional or intellectual health and well-being. Apart from this, there are also in which you can enhance your experiences of intellectual health. Remember, anything that you do which builds your potential, which brings in a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, which makes you happy, and which gets you connected with yourself and boosts the capacity of your brain, can be an effective way of enriching your intellectual health. So, with that said and done, it's very important for us to remember that our teachers, our parents, and the society in general can give us the environment that we need to improve our intellectual health. But ultimately, it is our personal responsibility to develop routines and habits on a day to day basis and to get actively involved in doing things that promote our quality of life. So, with that, I hope I have made my point. Thank you so much.
Between mental well being and intellectual well being. And nowadays, along with IQ, it has become very important to talk about EQ. That is the emotional question. So, let's also discuss this another aspect of mental well being, that is the emotional well being, and how we all can develop and how we all can actually excel in that. So, for that, I'll request Dr. Jyoti Bhavane ma'am to discuss more on these elements.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure your exams are all over, and most of you are waiting to go out for a vacation, and the summer is coming close by. Okay, in this session, actually, I will be sharing some of my views about emotion well-being. Now, can you please share the slide, please? Yeah, next slide, please. Now, what is emotions? Emotions actually are the ways individuals deal with matters or situations that they feel are personally very important to them. It could be anything, you know. It could be even matters something like environmental awareness leads to even purchasing any kind of an instrument that you need, and how a person reacts to these kind of things. So actually, the whole point is here is that emotions are essential part of us. Can you imagine our lives without emotions? I mean, can you think like you're putting in a classroom and your teacher says, none of you are supposed to speak, you're not supposed to laugh, you're not supposed to smile? It gets very boring and monotonous, isn't it? So it's very difficult to be without emotions. Even if like you go for a camp and they say that no talking to each other, so it becomes very difficult because you want to express your excitement, you want to share your views. Some people don't are not able to express because they're upset. So that gets very difficult, and then you don't even understand one another. So you're very confused. So actually, if you look at human beings, there's a whole wide range of emotions, and this could be positive or negative. Okay, within that also you can see there's a lot of shades in this. Like even if it's a positive emotion, it could be extremely or less when it was negative. So that whole picture that you can see that it's a shade of emotions that human beings adopt in their daily lives. The other thing about emotions is, it helps us. There's something very nice about emotions is they help us to prepare, for any situation, or drive us to take on a particular action or inaction. In other words, it helps us to exhibit our behaviors. For instance, like you see and injustice happening, or you see bullying happening around in the schools. What would you do? Some of you would go and fight for it. You would express in terms of anger, but there are others who would also be very quiet, or they get frozen up. Or sometimes you're in a classroom and you have a very strict class leader in the class. Some of you enjoy that feeling, but whereas some just freeze because you're very scared of the consequences that might take if you talk. Okay, so this is how it is. So it can even the emotions can drive for any kind of situation which is critical to you. The other thing about emotions is there is lot of wisdom in all of these emotions. I mean, They are very important in the sense that they help you to how you have to inform your feelings or maybe your expressions to others. So the moment you express any kind of emotion, the persons very close to you are well informed about your reactions. So sometimes what happens is it also helps us the need what kind of changes that needs to be taken place, maybe in the environment or in your relationships, maybe in terms of friends. Are you angry with this kind of person, this kind of behaviors of people? So people resist those kind of behaviors. So emotions have a lot of wisdom in them, and that is one of the reasons they have a lot of impact in your relationship that you develop. Maybe it could be also in your school, it could be also in your home, it could also be in the community as large. Okay, so that's next slide. Next. Yeah, so this is how about emotions. Now the whole question is, next please. Sometimes what happens is, can I have the next slide? Yeah. Are we conscious of our emotions? That's the whole questions. Are we, how conscious are you about your emotions? When we say that the emotions drive us to react or to take action or sometimes inaction against any situation, are we mindful of our choice? Are we aware? Sometimes what happens, very impulsively we react to situations. Maybe the emotions that we express are not appropriate for the situation. For instance, something like bullying, that takes place in a classroom or outside the classroom, and you get into anger, and sometimes there's a fist of hit take place. So that also is often I mean a kind of emotion that's expressed. But the whole question is it an appropriate behavior? Could there be another appropriate approach to handle this kind of a situation? You could look at other instances. For instance, you are a group of friends and you go to school one day, and then you realize that you have not completed your assignment. Okay, how do different people react? Maybe one would get very upset and get very nervous, the other one is very cool about it. Let's see, we'll see afterwards. Then there's someone who just freezes. So you can see there is a range of reactions, but here we can't speak much about the appropriateness, but also there also express, one cannot get too anxious about certain things. Another very good example is, I'm sure most of you watch the Indian Idol show, the competitions that take place on the television. There's so much of competition. Sometimes what happens, a contestant wins the competition. Okay, when he wins, sometimes he cries. There are others who jump of joy. So there's a different kind of emotion. But also when you see when someone loses, there are some who cry, but there are also others who say that it's okay. If I lose, I'm sure I'll have another chance. So I'll come back well prepared next time. So this is how is the emotion being put it in a very different way. The output is the same. So you see that it all depends what kind of emotion you would like to select or you choose to exhibit in certain kind of situations. Some cry, some express joy, some are silent, some freeze, some are sad, anxious, and also some are very scared. But many times, by and large, if you see that these emotions express, by and large, they actually express your outlook towards life. Okay, your life situations and also the world around us. So as you grow up, you see that these emotions get nurtured and they get more and more matured, and also ultimately they leads also to development of your attitudes. Next slide. There's a next slide, which you see, this is actually a tree of emotions. That is actually this slide. I found it in the Wiki Media Commons. It's open source, so it's accessible to anyone. You can see that it shows that human beings, there are so many emotions that start off right from your childhood, and as you grow, they distribute or they branch out, and ultimately, when they branch out, they also branch into attitudes. What kind of attitudes you develop towards life, towards your family members, towards school, towards education. So this is how it happens as you grow older. I mean, as you grow up. Next slide, please. So, but the whole question is, emotions. How many kinds of emotions are there? I mean, you can imagine, since I showed a couple of shades, I have actually been looking out to see if I can find a comprehensive list of emotions that human beings express or no. It's very difficult because I found some say there are 5 categories, some says there's 27 categories, some says there's 6 categories. So there are numerous categories of emotions. I think it's impossible to really jot down what are the kinds of emotions one expresses, which are the right ones or which are the wrong ones, because ultimately all these emotions depend on the context and the criticality of the situation. Next slide. Taking this into a very simple terms, okay, I would like to largely see, since you're all school students, okay, and the kind of what do you say, the complexities that you are likely to face. You're actually getting into a phase of, because you're trying to be, become more of adults. So that's the thing. So there's some kind of complexity. For some, it might be sweeping. For some, it must be quite a normal life. But I think that by and large, you see that these are the fine kind of emotions that generally been exhibited. It's anger, there's fear of exams, there is sadness sometimes when you realize that, okay, I didn't score up to my expectations. There is happiness when you stand first in the class, or when you get a trophy, sometimes very excited when you get selected for a drama competition. Well, see, these are the normal kind of experiences that generally by and large children experience, as you as children experience in schools. Keeping that in view, in mind, what happens is, next slide, please. What happens is sometimes these emotions can get complicated or sometimes very confusing and chaotic, because sometimes you feel, oh, did I do the right thing, or did I do the wrong thing? Should he have been behaved better way, or he should have done this way? He shouldn't have got angry with me. He could have always come to me and spoken. Okay, that could be also with you or with also with your friends. So sometimes it's very complicated. It's something like, okay, you're in a classroom and maybe a teacher asked a question, and then you didn't know the answer. Sometimes some of them, some students do cry. So after the class is over, the same student might think, I shouldn't have cried in the class, you know. So there is some kind of confusion. Maybe I could have spoken or being honest with the teacher. So if you see actually the whole this act of crying as an emotion, if you look at independently, it is not problematic, because to that context, the kind of an experience that a student has undergone, it is fine. It is perfectly fine. But sometimes it can be difficult and challenging, especially when you persistently express this emotion, because once you realize that maybe next time I should not cry, you should ensure that you develop more of boldness in you and try to see how you can reduce a particular emotion, uh, to show that you are also improving and you are also in a better way to communicate in the class. Because what happens is, if you persistently showing this, I mean, if for every situation, if you cry or if you get anxious, or you get nervous, then that is going to have an impact on your ability means any single day activity, like even doing your homework, completing your school activities. What happens when you get anxious? You tend to forget. So you forget that you have some activity to be done. Then you don't try to stay away from your friends. So there is some kind of strained relationship with your classmates. And overall, you can see that you are not very happy with yourself and also with the environment around you. So that's the kind. So there is also another side of emotion which you should realize, that it can have an impact on your mental health. Next slide, please. Now let's look at what are the factors that trigger, I mean, these kind of emotions, which you think it persistently forms, or which affects your performance or affects your daily life activities. One is stress. I'm sure all of you, I mean, know that the moment you hear the term examination, there is some kind of a stress. Your heart beats faster, or some people sweat, or some people have this very anxious feeling. That is one. That was also examination. So I think this is something also you need to realize. uh, do you really have to have fear on examination? Why do you fear for examination? The second is physical concern. Now you're in an age where you're trying to, you know, play the role of adults, so you're more physically conscious of your appearance. Some say, oh, I wish I was more tall, or I wish I was more lesser in height if you're too tall, or maybe I had long hair, I was more handsome, I was more beautiful. So these are the concerns also sometimes affects your emotions, because then the way you react or communicate with people change, because you are not happy within yourself. Yeah, there's communicative skills. Maybe you're not able to even speak. In a classroom, when a teacher asks you to speak, you find scared and you're not able to speak. Sometimes you're not assertive. For instance, a group of friends say, come, let's do something, let's play this game, or let's go to this pub, or let's go to somewhere, and you know that you don't want to do that, you find it very difficult to say no. So getting assertive also, so that there is that kind of commotion happening within you, and which also has an impact on emotions. Sometimes it could be, see, when you grow as an adult, there's a lot of times you decide, you feel that I have to take decisions because now I can take decisions. So there's some kind of conflict that can take place even with your sisters, because in terms of decision, whether like you want a mobile phone or you want a two-wheeler, sometimes with your parents. So there's some kind of an argument or taking place. So these also sometimes what do you say, trigger you to express certain kind of emotion which may not be favorable in that particular environment. And you know about the pandemic last 2 years, most of you know that most of the families and students have lost their near and dear ones, which has actually have a serious impact. And in fact, I think realizing the way the pandemic has affected our mental lives, I think the government has also emphasized that the schooling system should set a system in place to support the well-being of students as well as teachers. Okay, next slide, please. Now, coming up to speaking of emotional well-being. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, coming. Okay, what is well-being? I just, in a very simple term, it is actually wellness is the ability to successfully handle life stresses and adapt to change and difficult times. You know that every day, the situations are changing, life situations are changing. So you need to adapt. It's something like initially it was only like example learning in school was only textbook and writing, but now with this whole computers coming and artificial intelligence coming, I mean, we need to develop digital skills. So there is some kind of stress. And also wellness also can be refers to the awareness and understanding a person has about their emotions and how well they are able to manage through different life events. So it also depends how you recognize your emotions. See, sometimes when you get angry and when the situation calms down, many people don't realize that how angry they have expressed, what is the kind and how much it has affected. But if you start getting conscious, like you should start looking back, did I react properly during that particular situation? Maybe I should have been more calm. To be emotionally healthy, essentially identify and talk about your emotions, self and others. So that is what it says. If you want to be aware, I think you need to identify your emotions either by talking to yourself. It is very perfectly fine to talk to yourself, maybe, and also others, maybe the people who are present in that situation. You can ask them, was that fine? Okay. But remember, you can express variety of express emotions, and it is very normal to even anger is also fine. Any emotion is fine. It all depends the depth of the emotion and how long, or do you continue exhibiting the same kind of emotions. But and so that is the whole thing, that even a variety of emotions expressing does not make you weak or inadequate. Next, please. What markers you need to be very conscious about? Now, since now we're speaking of wellness, how do you know that you are emotionally well, or even people around you are emotionally well? First, very important, do they get irritable? Do I get irritated of small things? I think that needs, you need to be very conscious. Why do you get irritated? Because that shows that there is some kind of a trigger. You're unable to concentrate in your studies, or you don't want to study for long hours, you don't want to read books. Okay, these are, you don't want to participate in school activities, there's something. Then there is this unexplained fears or increased unnecessarily you fear for a class. Maybe you don't want to sit in a particular class, maybe a max class, because max generally is considered to be a subject. No, a lot of students fear max, maybe even a particular kind of teacher. Maybe that fear could be unexplained. I think that somewhere you need to rationalize and find out why is that fear coming. Sometimes because of this, maybe then you even isolate from families, you don't want to talk to anyone around you, you want to sit alone, you want to sit with your gadgets, friends. Sometimes you explain the substance, that something, let's try something new, what has come in the market. Or sometimes you complain. If you remember, when children are very small, they generally, they don't want to avoid school. What do? They say, I have a stomach ache, I have a headache. So even now also there are children, even at the higher standards, also maybe experience unconsciously some kind of aches to avoid going to the school. And at last, also you might have a poor appetite and low immunity. I think these are some of those markers that you need to be very conscious, not only with regard to you, also maybe your sisters and people around you. Then maybe you should try to help them come out of these emotional turmoils. Next, please. How do you cope up with, as I think the first two presentations have given pretty much ideas about how to cope up. Okay, one, as I said earlier, also self reflection, like you talk to yourself, find out, justify whether the way you behave was right or not. Take self care of yourself, dress up well, buy things for you, fulfill your needs, ask your parents if you need something, justify why do you need them. develop a good support system, that is keep good friendships with you, keep good relations with your parents. Even sometimes it is fine to have conflicts, but then always you need to come on, patch down, and then get back in good relations with your friends, engage in hobbies, go to theaters. You can go for natural nature camps, or you can do painting, you can just learn some music or learn some new languages, and always have positive, because for every situation there could be a bad side, there could also be a positive side. So always look into the positive aspects, and then see how, like, once you get very angry, make sure the next time in a similar situation your intensity of anger is less. So that's how you say you control, you regulate your emotions. Like they said in the early situations, you can take in breathing exercises, because that also helps you to control your emotions, spend time outdoors, go on camps. Ultimately you can
Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am, for connecting with us in the conversation. Ma'am, due to paucity of time, I'll have to request you to stop it here
okay.
itself. But
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much for
Can
sharing
I just
these.
conclude by just one last sentence? I just want
Yes.
to, yeah, I just want to say a last thing, that there's a good quote which says, tough times never last, but tough people do. So I want you to be just,
Thank you. That's a beautiful message from your end towards the culmination. And now I'll request Mrs. Jacinta Felix, madam, to please apprise us more about the different aspects of social well-being that incorporates mental well-being. Mrs. Jacinta Felix, do we have her here? Ma'am, if I am audible, please respond back. Jacinta, ma'am?
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you are. You may
Yeah.
continue.
Yes. Good afternoon to you all and all the students who are present here, those who are going to hear this. After listening to all the various aspects, now we are going to go for the social well-being. How we can promote, what is that, and how it's going to enhance the mental health. All these things we are going to see. So first, let me go for my presentation, ma'am. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Can you?
you may continue. We have the
Yeah,
last 20 minutes left in the conversation.
yeah. So the first one is one second. Just go before. The first one is the social well-being. What is social well-being? First, we need to understand. It is a kind of defend as sharing and developing and sustaining a meaningful relationship with others. Here, meaningful relation means first priority we can give to the families, where whenever there is a birthday party, we have to greet each other and have a spend a quality time in the family, within the family. That's very, very important. And next one, from the family members, next we go for neighbors. Whenever there is a festival, we have in our country we have many festivals, and we are living unity in the diversity, and many religious festivals are coming. We all share our things, no, whatever we make at home, whether irrespective of different religion we belong to, we keep sharing, and that kind of neighboring we can have. And next one is among being a school students, you are in the school and in the class with the friends, with your classmates, and also with your teachers, how to have say where you have to have very coping up skills to have different talks, and whenever there is a conflict, how to overcome that and be friendly with them. All these are different examples for this. And next one, what is mental health? As we were talking about the mental health from the first session, the mental health includes how we feel, how we think, and how we act according to our emotions. And the mental health, a balanced way we cope up with the stress. Whenever, say, everybody come across this stress. A day has, in 124 hours, we have day and night. So both extremes. Same way in life, we have ups and downs always. And whenever there is a down, there will be ultimately we will be having the stress, difficult situations to manage, how to cope up with that, how we are handling the stress. That's very important. And mental health helps us to do that. And mental health is not only adolescent; it is needed in all phases of our life, whether it is a child or adolescent or even any age time, we need that. And next we see uh, what is mental health and how the positive mental health allows us the people to be. So if we have a good positive mental health, we'll realize our potential well. Being a student, you may be good in reading, some are good in language, some are good in arithmetic, some are good in sports events. Like as you perform and be successful, you'll be understanding what is your potential. And the coping up with the stress, say any life part of your life, even when you go for a cultural program, when you go on a stage and you're going to perform a program, actually once you go onto the stage, you'll have the stage fear. So these are the situations you come across in the school, where you come to the stress and we have fear because of that you may not perform well, all those things. So how you cope up? So the positive mental health, you have to cope up positively. And next one, whatever work is given. See, we have wonder from waste in our schools, the co-classical activities. So even from waste, how we are creating a wonderful productive work in the mind. So even the plastic bottles which is not used is used for hanging garden, and we make so many things. Even coconut shell, we make many innovative ideas on that. Even the uh, things, woolen threads or the broomsticks. So there are so many things are productively done. So we work productively. But the positive mental person will work productively, and always they make a meaningful contribution to their communities. So there are so many NGOs, social work institutes where people work on meaningful contributions. So these are the aspects of positive mental health. Now, how this mental health and social well-being is connected. Now, people who are socially connected with their families, as we can see, witnessed from the school itself, the children, or even your parents, also you can take as an example. So, where they have family, friends, and the other community happier, they are when they maintain the social well-being, their mental health is good and sound good. Like they have they are the happier person, and psychologically also they are healthier. So as and they live longer also. You can see the our previous generation, they live for long time. See, nowadays the average existence of life is 60 or 40 now, they say. But the olden generation, our grandparents, they lived till 80. So because they never had all this stress on their life to get good marks, or to get all this well, like what to say, good marks, and be good in all uh, aspects. So they lived a simple life, but they have lived happily also by celebrating the festivals. Any festival comes, the house will be cleaned, and they go for shopping, even getting a small new sari. All these are happy moments. They share with others. So they gift also with others. On birthdays, we gift. All these are promote. They were having a good social well-being, so they get along with the people and they were happy. So they are mentally good. So when you are connected with people more than the things all around now, system and cell phone, and now we are confined with all the cell phone. Normally, after pandemic, many are using the cell phone. Even the school also, we are using the cell phone to send the messages nowadays. But maybe previously we were not like that. So when we are connected, we have a very good positive mental health as we are happier and stay longer. And Next slide shows if at all you are having a low social well-being, what are the consequences you face into? So if you're not getting along with others, you're isolated in the class. So you won't be talking with your friends. There is no conversation. There is no chance of improving a language or getting to know what is going on, the current affairs. So you'll be isolated from all, and kind of loneliness in your mind, loneliness. So always you have to manage everything, like we say, frog at the well. So you will be thinking your own circle, so you won't have any innovative ideas, and you're disconnected from all, and because of that you will be burst out, and emotionally you're not all right. So you may tend to self harm yourself because I have not achieved good mark, whereas others are getting. She has taken part in the CC activity, whereas I could not do it. So those uh, depression leads to self harming, and even some are very obsessed about eating. So when they are socially isolated, as they are watching TV or video games, and they keep eating all the junks, as they want to be busy with the system for a long time. So they eat more, so which forms eating disorder. Even they won't maintain the time. All the eating disorder comes. So junk food, all this goes, and their health is spoiled. And as you're not socially connected, your uh, exposure is very less, and naturally you will feel that see, even the body image also may come into this. So because of your body image, because I am dark whereas others are uh, fairer than me, that complex, they isolate themselves. The low social well-being will come into their mind, and because of that they feel the slow self-esteem. They have a feel of down in their mind, because of they won't even dress up nicely. Or rather they become obese and they won't dress, so because of that they don't feel like going, so that creates a sadness among them. And if somebody talks, because of the loneliness, they feel somebody who gives comfort to them, they are vulnerable to them, so that leads into a great complex. And when somebody corrects them, so you're adolescent, you should be looking smart, and you have to go into a good diet. All the if they say, they may get anger. So immediately they burst out for with the loud ones. So even the family members they can't have. Then one more thing, the fear of rejection. So everywhere. See, being adolescent, you want to wear a good uh, like dress which you want to, even the actors wear, but your body is not fitting for it. So that causes a rejection from the fellow beings, and a kind of anxiety always, and the depression. All these disorders comes when you are in a low, so when you are not connected well with the uh, others. Now, some of the examples I can cite for you so that you may identify which category you get into. So, avoiding activity that person previously enjoyed. Say, if at all you're going for a walk with the friends or any drawing class, you will be dry, will not come. Then, spending time. Suppose somebody is inviting for the birthday party, you will say that, no, I have some other work. So, you make yourself, you pretend as if you're busy and making excuses to be alone. See, if the whole family is going for a temple to visit or a church, you will say, no, no, I'm busy with the exam, I will not come out. And being less talkative in a group, you may not be updating the what is going
Jacintha
the.
ma'am, we are left
Okay.
by the last 5 minutes in the conversation, so I request you to please be precise.
Next one, what causes a person not to be socialized? Also, all this anxiety, depression, fear, shame, all this will be coming. Next, this I want to insist on how to overcome the social withdrawal. So you have to have good connection with the family members. Next, take part in the events like gardening. Your hobbies, you can have it as a gardening where you have creative work, and you will be mind will be very peaceful, and you can have a self care of yourself. So take care of yourself by doing some exercise, having a good diet, as previously we were discussing, and some of the social activities you can involve into. So go for a library to go into a book, or go for any game which you like with other friends, and adopt a pet. You can have a pet along with you, so that you can engage the time, and you can because of that you can meet some other people when you go out, and volunteer time of helping also. That is very important. And next one, how to promote self-care being a student. So instill coping skills. You know what is by coping skills? Anyway, anything you give, you attend to it, and have a gratitude. Always when somebody helps, you have a gratitude, so that you'll go and talk. Your social well-being will be more improved more. And initiate self-care, safe way, physically, and your eating habits you can have. And always take a mindful breaks, so where you're fully involved in games, teamworks, or gardening, all these things can be done, and facilitate safe socialization. So among your family members, among your friends, you can have a social get together, and wherever you're there, you share your feeling honestly. Ask for what you need from others. Suppose you want, openly you can ask, so that you can have a communication, and listen to others without judgment or blame. So always listen to others. Always you keep, don't do it, so that by listening you can have more people to be with you. And discourage others respect. Okay, avoid being overcritical. So don't be so crucial. And social well-being include better social integration, improved behavior, and as increased resilience. Resilience is very important. What is resilience? Suppose your mind says that I will not go for a walking today, so you're feeling lazy. But suddenly you have to get a power from your body, mind, that today I will go. So you are overcome. That's a strength. So as your resilience, you overcome all these blocks, and you can have a good social well-being, social network. By having this, you can have a good mental health. So thank you, children, for listening.
Thank you so much, Jacintha ma'am. And
Yes.
as we are moving towards the culmination of the program, a word of thanks to all the panelists. Thank you, Professor Anil Kumar. Thank you, Radha ma'am. A word of thanks to Dr. Hita Claudia Rao. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. And thank you, Mrs. Jacintha Felix, for being a part of this conversation and sharing your precious time and the valuable information with all our viewers. So before
Thank
wrapping
you
up
so
the
much.
conversation of Manodarpan Paricharcha, for all of you, here is an important piece of information, as most of our audiences, they keep on asking, especially our parents, regarding the availability of NCERT textbooks and from where you can get it. So please hear it very carefully, that NCERT textbooks for the academic year 2023 to 2024 are available across the country. They may be purchased directly from NCERT sales counters that are located in New Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata and Guwahati. Also, the sales counters will be functional on all the weekdays, including gusted holidays. Also on Saturdays and Sundays, and the timings would be 9:30 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. in the evenings. And viewers, you may also place an order online for the books from our website. It is flashing on your screens, and the link is ncertbooks.ncert.gov.in. Again, I am repeating it for you. It is ncertbooks.ncert.gov.in, and you'll be able to receive all the placed order books at your doorstep without any extra charges. And if you want the soft copy, that is the PDF version of NCERT textbooks, then you can also download it from NCERT, Diksha, ePartshala website and mobile application. And in order to explore more about it and also to know more about the authorized vendors, ncert.nic.in is our website where you all can get more information regarding the availability of NCERT textbooks. Once again, thank you to all the panelists and all the viewers who have been a part of this conversation. And all the viewers, now it's time for me to wrap up this discussion. But stay connected, keep watching eVidya channels and take very good care of yourself. Namaskar.